Let me say a little something about Will Rogers. November 4th is his birthday. He would be 146 years old today. He was born in 1879. He died in a plane crash in 1935. In that time, the 55 years he was on this planet, he created an incredible career, a true Renaissance man. And I think of historical figures that have influenced my life, basically there's Jesus Christ and there's Will Rogers. So much so that I have a one-man show that I have based on the writings of Will Rogers because I think they are really important. This is the show America needs right now because he was the only person in history to be invited to speak at both the Democratic and Republican conventions. No other American, no other person on the planet has ever been adored and loved by both of those parties. His epitaph said, "I never met a man I didn't like." And he was able to see the good in everyone, regardless of their foibles and their follies. And for me, I think that is something we really need to remember right now as human beings and as Americans. So my intention is to take my show, Will Rogers Revived, to take it to New York this summer. I'm hoping to perform it again here in Sarasota, Florida, sometime in the spring. And then I want to be able to tour around the country with this show. Let me tell you a little more about Will Rogers. In that same year, 1928, when he was invited to speak at both the Democratic and Republican conventions, he was also nominated to be the presidential candidate for the anti-bunk party. Okay, Life magazine at that time was a humor magazine, and they came up with the anti-bunk party. As a joke, because of course we all know that there's no way a third party can ever really have any influence. We have a two-party system, and that's unfortunately what we've come to believe is the only way we could ever do things. Will saw a lot of folly in that, and so he had this great summer of writing about the anti-bunk party and how we get the bunk out of politics. We still have a lot of bunk that needs to get out of politics. And Will said something very interesting that always just is stuck in my mind ever since I started integrating him into my life. When the anti-bunk party did not win in 1928, he said it was just 100 years ahead of times. Now, 2028 is coming up, and we still have a lot of bunk in our political situation there. So my hope is that the anti-bunk party can make some sort of a revival. 100 years ago, there was no one was bigger than Will Rogers. And it's unfortunate that today, a lot of people don't know who he is. I am going to be releasing today, I did a 1-hour documentary. I traveled on my motorcycle through 25 states to revisit the legacy of Will Rogers. I hope you watch the film. You know, if you're interested in the idea of not always hating everybody and life being so mean, explore Will Rogers a little bit. And hopefully you'll recognize that kindness is a beautiful thing.